I don't know what records nobody broke, Kevin.
Yeah, I broke Eddie's record.
Tensions rise in Hollywood as Eddie Murphy reveals shocking insights on Kevin Hart, deemed an industry plant by Katt Williams. Is there truth behind the claims of manipulated fame? Well, let's find out. Kevin Hart's rise to fame hasn't been without his share of whispers and side eyes. When it comes to controversy, Katt Williams doesn't hold back. He's gone on record to say that Kevin did whatever it took to climb that Hollywood ladder, even suggesting Kevin sold his soul for fame. And Katt labeled Kevin an industry plant. But wait, it gets better. Just when Kevin might have thought that he'd heard the last of Katt's fiery accusations, Eddie Murphy jumps into the picture. Eddie, a legend in his own right, seems to back up everything Katt's been saying. Let's rewind to 2008, where this all began. The film Fool's Gold hit the screen, and Kevin Hart shines in his role. But here's a little known fact. That role was initially meant for Katt Williams. Due to some legal troubles, Katt had to bow out, and Kevin, seizing the opportunity, jumped in. Then, adding fuel to the fire, Kevin lands a role alongside Eddie Murphy in Meet Dave. And guess who was first in line for that role? Yup, Katt Williams. While Katt has never openly declared war on Kevin, his comments while promoting Scary Movie 5 hinted at more than a little bitterness towards his comedy rival. It's clear that there's no love lost between these two. Katt made it clear he doesn't have a beef with Kevin Hart. Why? Well, because at the end of the day, he respects comedy and those who make people laugh. But, and there's always a but, he mentioned something about a crown. In his world, if you're king, no one else should be able to wear your crown, and yet, despite claiming there's no beef, Katt can't help but throw some shade about Kevin snagging roles that were supposedly meant for him. Now, let's fast forward to the start of 2024. Katt Williams dropped some serious tea on the Club Shay Shay podcast. He's baffled by how Kevin Hart landed a sitcom and a leading movie role in Soul Plane during his very first year in Hollywood. Ever heard of that happening before? Katt asks. His point? It's unusual, almost unheard of, but for a newcomer to score that big and that fast? And so, in Katt eyes, Kevin's rise isn't just luck. It's a classic case of being an industry plant. But let's not jump to conclusions. Being labeled a plant implies Kevin had all these opportunities handed to him, bypassing the usual Hollywood grind. Katt's insinuation, Kevin got where he is by playing the game, making deals behind closed doors. And while Kevin's success story does sound like a fairy tale, it's Hollywood after all. However, Katt's critique doesn't stop with Kevin's rapid rise. He also dives into the infamous dress controversy in comedy. According to Katt, wearing a dress is like a rite of passage for comedians, especially black comedians. It's a controversial stance, suggesting that saying yes to the dress propels one's career forward, while saying no could mean a dead end. Katt's take on this? Well, not everyone's cut out for the same path. He even mentions how, unlike his friends, he could never dunk a basketball. It's all about choices. This dress debate isn't new. Many black comedians, including Jamie Foxx and Tyler Perry, have found themselves in a similar attire on screen. So, amidst all the chatter about whether wearing a dress in films is some sort of secret handshake for success, Dave Chappelle decided to set the record straight. Remember that time he chatted with Oprah? He explained his choice to walk away from a $50 million deal, wanting to stay true to himself rather than getting lost in the fame and fortune frenzy. But Dave dropped another bombshell during that conversation, touching on a peculiar pattern he noticed. Why do so many black comedians end up wearing dresses in their movies? The situation got real personal for Dave when he was working on a film with Martin Lawrence. Walks into his trailer room and boom, there's a dress laid out for him. Confusion sets in because, as far as he knew, dressing up as a woman wasn't part of the script. The producers thought it'd be hilarious to have Martin's character try to sneak out of jail disguised as a prostitute, with Dave in tow, dressed for the part. But Dave wasn't having it. He immediately pushed back, not feeling the whole dress idea. Despite the producer's best efforts to convince him, Dave stood his ground. What's fascinating here is that their backup plan was ready to roll almost instantly. Dave said no to the dress, and within minutes they pitched an entirely different scene. When the topic of wearing dresses in Hollywood came up, Kevin Hart had his say, nodding to Dave Chappelle's own experiences. Kevin shares that he hadn't come across the infamous dress dilemma himself. For him, it's all about sticking to your guns and knowing where your line is. He even shared a quirky anecdote about refusing to dribble a basketball on a morning show because it didn't just tickle his funny bone. Kevin seemed pretty clear on his stance, suggesting you wouldn't catch him in a dress anytime soon. Well, life's unpredictability. Take Kevin Hart for instance. Who would have guessed we would have seen him in a dress on Saturday Night Live? That certainly had everyone doing a double take, wondering if Kevin flipped his stance overnight. The folks were debating whether Kevin ditched his principles for fame, but Kevin was quick to clarify wearing the dress was his choice, a decision driven by the humor he saw in it. Then Eddie Murphy steps in, sharing his thoughts but keeping the vibe chill. Eddie recounted a moment from his movie Foolish where he too faced the dress dilemma. Not thrilled by the idea, Eddie highlighted there are limits to every laugh. Amidst this, Monique brings her own story to the table, diving into the drama that unfolded with Precious, tasked by none other than Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry to promote the movie at the Cannes without any extra compensation. Monique stood her ground, prioritizing her family and well-being over unpaid labor. Her stand, however, branded her as difficult in Hollywood. But Kevin Hart didn't just stand by idly. He reached out to Monique, offering support and trying to mend fences with Tyler Perry on her behalf. Though Perry wasn't up for rehashing the past, Kevin's attempt to help didn't go unnoticed. Kevin went even further, extending a financial helping hand to Monique and her family when they were backed into a corner. This wasn't just any loan, it was a lifeline at the time when Monique's options were running thin. And true to her word, Monique paid back the loan with interest to show her gratitude. But Kevin's generosity didn't stop there. He also expressed his willingness to back Monique's future projects, including a potential talk show revival. Monique's team reached out to Kevin's manager, hoping to pin down details, only to be hit with a cold reality. They were told Kevin wanted nothing to do with Monique. Confused and hurt, Monique didn't just take this lying down. She called Kevin directly, looking for answers. Kevin chalked it up to a misunderstanding and promised a chat that never happened. That was over 2 years ago. Well, here's where it gets spicy. His ex-wife, Tori Hart, decides not just to move on, but to team up with Katt Williams for a tour. Yes, the very same Katt Williams who stands as Kevin's rival. Their marriage, once a tale of love that brought 2 kids into the world, crumbled under the weight of Kevin's infidelity. Tori wasn't just the woman behind the man, no, she was the creative spark behind some of Kevin's best stand-up material. Yet, her role remained uncredited, her contributions overshadowed. Now, by joining forces with Katt on the Dark Matter tour, she's making a statement that's impossible to ignore. When quizzed about his thoughts on Tori's new venture, Kevin managed a response that was polished on the surface, yet the underlying tension was unmistakable. Katt Williams, on the other hand, didn't hold back, using his platform to question Kevin's authenticity and comedic chops. Kevin's comeback? A high road of positivity, asserting his happiness and security in where he stands, in both his career and personal life. Yet, the public's leaning seems to sway more towards Katt, echoing his critique of Kevin's humor. Eddie Murphy, comedy royalty in his own right, offers a layer of complexity with his reserved commentary, further thickening the plot of this unfolding drama. Well, with Eddie Murphy shedding light on Kevin Hart's industry plant accusations by Katt Williams, this drama challenges perceptions of success in the comedy world. Well, what do you think? Has Kevin Hart's path to stardom been a product of genuine talent or industry manipulation? What do you think about Eddie Murphy's stand in this drama? Comment down below your insights and perspectives. And if you found this discussion intriguing, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights and updates.